All right, we back. We back on the People's Podcast. Um, Today we have an episode that is very near and dear to my heart. Um, we are going to be talking about collective economics. Now, this has come up several times on several of the podcasts in the past, but today we're going to go into a little bit of a deeper dive into what exactly collective economics is and how collective economics can benefit us as a people. Um, so, one thing that's very important is uh, improving the quality of life for people across the board. That's something that's very important. And when it comes to impacting that and improving society overall, um, it's about people coming together. People have to come together to make that kind of change. And you know, throughout history, you see that the mechanisms of social change respond to collective movements. They respond to large numbers of people coming together for a purpose or for a specific outcome. So you need significant numbers. Whether you're talking about voting or even protesting or advocating for any kind of social change, it is about the numbers. It is about the collective. It's about how many people can you get together? Can you get together to come together on this specific issue? Um, so I really feel like if we're going to improve the quality of life for people across the board, we need to come together as a collective. That might seem like a given, um, but I just want to lay that out clear. Um, Another aspect of that is our entire social order, including the government itself, is dependent on the people. Societies don't run, businesses don't run, the government does not run without the people. The people are these institutions. The people make up these institutions. So we're making this whole thing go. Um, in a sense, in a very literal sense. So, in my opinion, I think there are a couple different ways to get large numbers of people um, to kind of come together and collaborate and work together. I'm sure there are a number of ways to do it. For the sake of this discussion, I'm gonna put it into two big buckets, which is people either need to be very uncomfortable or they need to be very comfortable. So, in other words, they need to be so comfortable in their lives that they have the extra time and energy to spend on social justice and social improvement. Um, or on the flip side of that, they need to be so uncomfortable that they cannot stand to be in their current situation any longer. Um, so in a little more detail, in terms of uncomfortable, you've heard that old saying that some people some people only take action when doing nothing becomes more painful than the prospect of doing something. So basically, when people get so fed up in their current circumstances that they're motivated to take action because they're just like, I can't take this shit no more. In terms of comfortable, the flip side, you open up people's capabilities and and their time and their energy by taking care of their basic necessities. So by taking care of uh food, water, medicine, shelter, things of that nature, by taking care of basic necessities, you allow people more time to freely participate in the improvement of society. It's easier to attend city council meetings. It's easier to be informed on social issues and passing potential legislation. It's easier to practice civic participation when your bills are paid. when you don't have to worry about where certain things are coming from, or if you're going to be able to do certain things for your family or your loved ones. Um, so it's easier for you to participate in those systems. If you do have to worry about those things, you don't have time to do all that stuff. You don't have time to go to a city council meeting at 10 o'clock on a Wednesday because you working to put food on the table. And so it's this dichotomy between being super comfortable or super uncomfortable that motivates people to change. Um, and so I think that with the bigger goal of uh, improving the quality of life for people across the board, collective economics is one of those answers. It is one of those financial answers because it allows people in the community to make a living for themselves and provide for their loved ones without burning out, without without working themselves to the bone and just not having the time and the energy to do anything else but just provide and survive. Um, and that's all most people want. All most people want, from legal to illegal, from rich to poor, from wherever you're from. Most people just want a chance to make a living and provide for themselves and their family without having to work themselves to death. If you give the a regular person just the ability to just provide for themselves and their family, they're good with that. They're good with that. And once that economic stability is established, now you've laid a foundation for political activism. Now you've laid a foundation for, now I can get more involved in social justice, and improving the quality of life for folks. So that's kind of like the where we're going with this. Um, and so we're gonna get into a little bit more of a detailed conversation around community economics in terms of the horizontal and in terms of the vertical. Um, and the horizontal is the variety of products we consume on a regular basis. And the vertical would be more like the ownership of the levels of production that it takes to get a product from uh, raw material to finished product to ready to sell to consumers. Okay, so we're gonna go into a little bit more detail about that. Starting with the horizontal. So when you think about the horizontal, think about the products and services that you consume on a regular basis. So you're probably going to the grocery store. You're probably going out to restaurants to eat. You might go to clothing stores to go shopping, maybe a mall. You might go to a hardware store to get stuff for your house. You might go to a retail store like Target or Walmart just to pick up little odds and ends that you need for your consumption, whatever the case may be. So we're talking about the broad range of products that you spend your money on a regular basis. Um, and so collective economics in the horizontal is about the owners of all those different kinds of businesses that we frequent on a regular basis would be a part of a collaborative network. So again, the grocery store, the restaurants, the retail stores, the Target or Walmart, the equivalent, the hardware stores, the clothing, etc. Wherever we go shopping, wherever we're spending money, the owners of those establishments are a part of a collective collaborative network. Now, what does that mean? It means a couple different things. It means that we as a community, being part of that network, we make intentional efforts to shop at these businesses. So every time I need to go to the grocery store or I want to eat at a restaurant, I intentionally choose a business that is within that collective network that we're talking about. Okay, so it's an intentionality behind the money that we're already spending. You're already going to the grocery store. You're already going out to eat at a restaurant. But what grocery stores, what restaurants are you choosing to go to? That's what we're talking about when we're talking about the horizontal. Now, a, a flip side aspect of this is the ownership. So we as a collective in this collaborative, right? We hold the owners accountable in the sense that we want them to hire individuals from within the community and within the same network that we're talking about, who are also part of this collective. And also, when it comes time to do business with other businesses, the owner should prioritize doing business with other businesses that are within the network. So, for example, uh, if I'm having food catered to my business, I would use a restaurant that is within the network as an owner. I'm going to make an intentional choice to say, hey, I'm going to make sure to try to patronize these other businesses that are also within this network for whatever I can. If you're ordering from a wholesaler, try to order from a wholesaler within the network. So as you can see, what we're doing is we're setting up a situation where we create a collaborative economic network and we are intentional about doing business with each other. The key the easy part about this is the money is already being spent. We're already spending money on these things. It's just about spending it in a more intentional way. Okay. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about the horizontal. A couple additional aspects is quality. The quality of the product or the service that we're patronizing. The quality of the product or service that we're patronizing within the network needs to be on par or better than um, products and services that we get normally. Just because you can't, as an owner, you can't think that somebody's going to come to your restaurant if your food is not up to par. Or you can't think that somebody's going to come to your store if your products are not up to par. Or you can't think that as an owner, somebody is going to come pay for your services if your services are not up to par. So we're not paying just because you're in the network. It's about you're providing quality services and we are providing the support and the compensation for that. So just because you're part of the network doesn't mean you can slack off on the quality. The quality needs to stay at a high level because people are spending their hard-earned money on this. So that's one aspect of it. Um, Another aspect of it is outsourcing. So there will come a time when, you will need to purchase something outside of the network that is not provided within the network because that business or that good or that service just might not be established yet. So you just need to try to be as intentional with that as well, or we need to try to be as intentional with that as well, and maybe even try to pull them into the network. Because that's the key. Because as the this is one of those things where as the network and collaboration grows, we become more powerful and we become more self-sustaining, which is really the key. Um, Okay, so that was the horizontal. So that's like the broad range of goods and services that you consume on a regular basis. The vertical, okay. So this is definitely more related to products rather than services, but the majority of products are involved in a process that takes them from some kind of raw material to a finished product that is available to consumers. And there is a huge amount of economic value created when you take a raw material and you manufacture it into a finished product that is ready to sell. Okay. So let's use the hardware store for example, right? So there's gonna be a company that either produces or has access from the very ground level to of it has raw wood. It has access to metals, plastics, et cetera, in their raw form. Okay. Now they're gonna take these raw materials and they're gonna sell these raw materials to manufacturing plants who then take the raw materials and turn them into hammers, shovels, wrenches, pliers, different tools, et cetera, et cetera. So now that company will now take those finished products and now they become a wholesaler to sell to retail stores that are gonna sell these to the public. So they these are the people that sell to Home Depot, who sell to you, who sell to us. These are the people that sell to uh, Lowe's, who then sells to us. So these are the wholesalers where they're getting these products, where they're getting these finished products. Um, and they even obviously sell to even small businesses or neighborhood businesses that sell hard uh, that sell, um, oh man, hardware, the sell hardware store products. Okay. So you have the raw materials get sold to this other entity. This other entity takes the raw materials, turns them into finished products, and then they sell these finished products at wholesale to the retailers that end up selling to the public. And it's a whole vertical process. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about the vertical process. So vertical integration is about owning every step of that process, or the people that own every step in that process being a part of the same collaborative network. Just like we talked about horizontally, whatever you spend at the grocery store, at a restaurant, is a part of the collective network. Now we're talking about vertically. Every step on this ladder is owned by a person within the network, right? So we are involved in every step of taking something from a raw material into a finished product for sale. So that's again the business that generates the raw material, the business that takes the raw material, turns it into a finished product, becomes a wholesaler, and the business that ends up selling that to the retailers. All of those levels are a part of our collective network. And not only just the owners, but the employees. The employee, because remember the part of being in the ownership in this collaborative is you are hiring people from the community. You're hiring people a part of the collective to be in these businesses, right? So now we're from the ownership level to the employer employee level. We're owning all of that. We're owning all of that. Um, and that's how you create a self-sustainable network um, of collective economics where everybody can thrive. When people talk about money uh, circulating in a network a certain number of times, oh, this the dollar, circulates 5 times, 10 times, 20 times before it leaves. This is what they're talking about, right? And so it bounces from person to person within the network, and that's how everybody can thrive. And that's exactly how it works. And then when it leaves because, okay, now I need something that is not contained within the network. I need some kind of product or service that is not contained within the network. So now I have to go to an outside business to do that, which is fine. But it's about making it circulate within your network as many times as possible and staying in it as many times as possible, because then everybody gets to eat off that same dollar, off that same dollar. Okay. All right. So that's the horizontal and the vertical. And if we as a collective can build this basic foundational collaborative economic network, then as a result, we will be able to provide a better quality of life for the members of our community. And when people have a means to provide for themselves and they have a higher quality of life, now you can mentally and physically spend more energy on creating social change. When people have a means to provide for themselves and their family, um, every aspect of society will improve. When you have a way to sustain yourself and the people that you love, you're less likely to do crime. You're less likely to do hard drugs. You're less likely to have health problems. You're less likely to have mental health problems. Every aspect of your being is going to improve. Okay, just by the fact that now you're taken care of on a foundational level, and now you can really spread your wings and yeah, you can really spread your wings and see what your infinite potential is. Whereas if that's not the case and you really have to struggle, uh, it's just hard. It's hard, man. So it's all connected. We make more money, we build more connections, we build better relationships, we build more generational wealth through this collective economics. We establish more threads of ownership in our communities through collective economics. Um, and we live healthier, more productive lives through collective economics. We create an environment where people can more freely engage in the things that make them happy, the things that they want to do, which will include social justice and social activism in terms of holding the government accountable for its actions, and improving that aspect. So on all aspects, collective economics is a win, 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 win. It's not even a win-win. It's a win, 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 win. Okay. Um, so yeah, I feel like that was an important topic, and I just wanted to go a little bit deeper. If you want to do a little bit of extra reading on it, one book that was very, very, very helpful in terms of helping me understand this is called Powernomics. It's by Dr. Claude Anderson. And it talks about how to execute on collective economics and examples of it working. And there are examples of it working all over the world, all over the world. It is only a matter of how many people can you get together that are going to collaborate and work together. That is the key. We have to be able to collaborate and work together. And here's the thing: collaborate and work together doesn't mean, you know, we all agree on everything or we all even get along. You can do business. You can do business and be a part of something that's mutually beneficial with people you don't get along with, as long as the business is straight. So you don't have to be at, go at everybody's house for dinner or meeting people's kids and, doing all that kind of stuff. It doesn't even have to be all that. It just has to be, we just have to be able to cooperate on a business economic level. And once we do that, we open more doors for our liberation. People's Podcast. Peace out, y'all.